Haven't done a video for quite a while, but I think it might be time. You'll notice the Polo's up on the ramps. So I've noticed, sort of in recent months, I don't do many miles, but in recent sort of trips out, quite a bit of a strong smell of fuel from the sort of the general sort of right hand side of the car, well, all around the car really, but quite strong around the filler. And I wondered if maybe this was blocked, this little channel. So I had tried to clean that out a little bit. And I've also replaced this cap with a new generic replacement, partly because this filler cap is a little broken. The solenoid still goes up and down, but someone must have yanked that off at some point, which is a bit of a shame. I haven't got around to fixing that properly yet, but I thought for now, just to keep my fuel tank protected, I'll just get a lockable generic one. But obviously it's got a brand new rubber seal on that, so I think it's fitting pretty well. Seems okay, but yeah, what was that smell anyway? Earlier on, and the reason we're on the ramps is it suddenly, upon starting up, I just happened to notice out before I shut the door from the inside, there was a little pool of liquid just behind, roughly sort of coming from down this area under the car, and it smelled very, very petrol. It was petrol. So we've sprung a leak somewhere, and if I come under here, you'll see what I found here. That little chap there, I think, is our fuel filter, and that doesn't look particularly new. I've got a feeling it needs changing. I don't know if it's just blocked, but there was fuel basically spraying all out around this area, so it may have a little hole in it, it may be clogged, not too sure at this stage, but plan is to get that off. Looks like it's just fixed in two places, and then there's something that holds this plastic bracket on, and the fuel filter sits in that plastic bracket. So we'll investigate that. It's too late in the day now to go and get a replacement. I think Monday might well be, yeah, when I can probably next go and get one. I've just managed to I limped it home and just quickly got the ramps out and got it up there in case I wasn't able to start it again. But yeah, it seems to be spraying out when it's under pressure. So when the fuel pump is when the fuel line is pressurized, yeah, we were getting quite a lot of petrol spilling out. So yeah, I've just hosed this area down, just letting that dry before we investigate the fuel filter on my little Polo 1.4 FSI. I'll let you know how I get on in the next one. Hello again. Well, it's Monday evening, late afternoon, after work anyway, and I've managed to get myself a replacement fuel filter. Let's hope it's the right one. Looks about the right size. Gone for a Crossland, mainly because that's one that Euro Car Parts had in, and I'm sure it's decent enough. Let's try and just get that out of the box and show you what it looks like. So we need to work out which way round this is going, if indeed it matters, what these are all about, and take the end caps off. But what I thought I'd do is just put some paper down, because unfortunately I don't think I'm going to be able to start working on this until I open up the car. I think it would probably be prudent to get it opened up and the alarm deactivated. But as soon as you open the door, I've noticed on this, it primes. Yeah, as soon as you open the door with the button, the key fob, it primes the fuel pump, and I don't know why. It's a bit of a strange thing, I've never known that before, but as soon as I put some pressure into that fuel line, fuel will start spraying out all over the place, as you'll no doubt see. Should we do it? Let's try it. So I don't know if all Polo 9Ns do this, of this vintage, of which this is a 2002, probably 2003 model year, standard Volkswagen key fob. So if I unlock it, you'll notice, oh, he says, now when I did that the other day, fuel started to spurt out there. There you go, door opens, fuel pisses out. And I need to just turn the ignition, which is going to cause it to go even more crazy in terms of its leaking. And that's just to basically stop the alarm going off after about a minute. I've no idea if that's normal. Do they all do that? Seems odd to me. While that's spraying out there, you can see where it's leaking. There's a hole. There's a hole in that fuel filter. I'm guessing that's been getting worse over time. That's now drenched my newspaper and leaked on my drive, so I might just go and take this paper and card away briefly and give that a quick wash. Otherwise I'm going to be working with fuel on the drive, which I'm probably going to end up with anyway, aren't I, if I take this off. A container to catch some fuel, that would be an idea. Right, back in a mo. Okay, we're nearly dried out. It's a very hot day today. Got something to catch any excess fuel in, my little screwdriver, and I'm going to be using some eye protection when I pull the two ends away. We'll get to that, but you'll notice, well, you might notice, I've undone the bracket, which was just a little screw. I don't know, is that going to show? You know what a screw looks like though. Just one of those little crosshead. Probably give that a bit of a clean up before it goes back. It wasn't overly tight, and that has allowed this just to drop slightly. So I'll get that under there so you can see hopefully where that goes. Right, I'm going to try and take the two ends off. From what I gather, you just sort of compress each side of the fuel line, the hose that goes into it. I've got a selection of different pliers that I'm going to try. So I think the theory will be something like, ooh, it's quite hard doing this one-handed. Yeah, just try and sort of push up, I think, on that, and try and just prise those off. Prise that off carefully. Sorry, that was one of my neighbours just talking to me while I was videoing. Wonders of working on your drive and not in the garage. But there you go, garage is occupied still. And I didn't really want fuel leaking out in there, frankly. It's not that sort of garage. So yeah, let's try and get those fuel lines off either end of that filter. Wear my goggles in case any fuel spurts out. Do another update in a min. Right, so after a bit of buggering around, I found that this has a little tab on the side that you press in. So you press that in where my thumb is. Same story for this one, except the tab I think is in a slightly different position. I think it's underneath. Don't know if you can see that. It's a little plastic tab that you just press in, and I was able to by hand just pull that off. I've done that side first, not fuel tank side first. Done the other side first in case anything flooded out, and so that if I take that out and there is a bit of fuel in the tank, it doesn't all just start gushing out, which it might do when I do this side now. Right, I'll let you know. Okay, after a bit of a wrestling match, I have now got the new fuel filter in place. The little tab that I just depressed it to get the old one off was sort of under here. This handbrake cable's well in the way, and I've not got it up on axle stands. I'm using ramps, which actually, as it turns out, has hampered my access a little as well. But anyway, bit of patience. Just what I did, just pressed, I don't know if you can see, I'm just pushing up on like a little tab. I've cleaned it up a bit now. It's a little plastic rectangle that you press on, and I've just located that in. No fuel spilled out, by the way. Probably means I've either the tank's empty or it doesn't it's not gravity fed, so it doesn't drain. I don't know if I can show you here, just that little tab. So this is the fuel line that goes to the engine. It's on the side of this, right? Can you see? I don't know if you can see. Oh, it's very hard to do it on the camera, but with my thumbnail I'm pressing that little tab in. That's what you press to get this off, and there's a little ridge that locates into. So I'm just going to press that in. Interestingly, on the old fuel filter that is probably quite old, look at that. There you go. That's just failed, hasn't it? Huge crack. That's where the fuel was spilling out. So about time we replaced this. I'm actually just wondering whether to, before I fix this all up, just let me get a little bit of wax all around this new fuel filter, just to sort of help protect it a bit from any corrosion. So I might just do that, and I'll do another video once I've just pushed that onto the end and done it up, and we'll have a quick look and a quick test. Well, I've clambered back up, and yeah, we've got the new fuel filter in place. I've just done up the screw, which I had put a bit of wax oil on. It didn't actually look like that bracket wanted to go back around the new filter. Maybe the new filter's a little bigger than the old one, but it's clamped in. I presume that that bracket is orientated correctly. It looks like it's sort of just holding the fuel filter in place. I have put a bit of wax oil around the new fuel filter as well. Don't know if that will help, but careful not to get any on the ends where the fuel lines connect. They located home, just a little click, and they push those in place. Got something down there in case when I turn the ignition on it leaks. I think we're ready to try it. So let me go find the keys, and we'll have a go, see whether we've fixed the issue. Okay, moment of truth. Now opening the door, as we know, primes. A bit weird. Leaking. Can't see any signs of leakage, so that's a good start. Let's just get in and start her up. There is a bit of fuel in there still, so we didn't lose everything. Still have visions of fuel flooding out of here, but I'm going to be very brave and stick my head under, and haven't got my goggles on. That looks like it's no longer leaking, so it'll be interesting to also see whether we still have that really strong petrol-y smell from, I thought it was coming from this fuel filler cap, but doesn't smell bad at the minute. I just wonder if is it possible that fuel could get backed up if it's constantly priming the fuel line even when you're not starting up? Is that just creating excess pressure, which is putting pressure on that fuel filter, or am I talking nonsense? Is there a breather pipe that could be blocked, which could be in turn putting more pressure in that fuel line? If you know the answer to that and more about Polo 9N fuel line and fuel injection than I do, please drop a comment. And indeed, I'd be very intrigued to know whether all 9Ns have this thing where you unlock the door with the key fob and then within about a minute you have to put the ignition on. Is that normal, or is it just mine? And I think I did read that it is normal that it primes the fuel line when you open the driver's door when the car's unlocked. That seems odd. I've never known that before. But there you go. So I think that concludes the end of this little fix. Quite satisfactorily. It's not leaking while it's up on the ramps, and you may well have noticed it doesn't sound quite the same as a normal 1.4 FSI, partly because I've had this lovely PowerFlow custom made stainless steel exhaust, including a new sports cat that they popped on there. Had this made up, and yeah, it's good. I didn't want it to sound too loud, which it doesn't, just a little bit raughty, and I didn't want it to be noticeable from the outside, because I actually wanted a stock replacement, but I couldn't buy one. So I asked guys at PowerFlow to replicate the design of the original system, so it, as far as I can make possible, it's as original, but with a stainless steel pipe, which should probably outlast a lot of the rest of the car. So yeah, there you go. In fact, I'll leave that there, so I'll just give it a little rev, because it is, bear in mind it's cold, although it's a very hot day. It'll just give me an idea of what it's like. Like that. Not bad, is it? Sounds even better when it's on the load. But anyway, right, that's enough. That's enough of all that. We've proved that it's not leaking fuel. I am probably going on a bit now, so forgive me if it's of interest. Carry on watching, obviously. But I think we'll call that a day and have a celebratory beer or something. Alright, see you in the next one.